Rocky. I didn't mean to have you up there.
Really?
I'll be back to you in a minute. Hi, Deirdre Verbo here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me in Let's Talk Seniors Memory Care Issues, Alzheimer's, Dementia, and Parkinson's. We love our seniors and we want to keep them safe during this time. And we're going to be talking to you about seniors. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. We have a special guest today. Before we get to that, many of you already know me, but I am Deirdre Verbo, author and senior specialist. I wrote the book Home to Home, the step-by-step senior housing guide. And my intention was to go around to all the senior facilities and do workshops and give seniors this book so they understand what they can do. If they have a house that they want to stay in, what their options are. If they have a house they want to sell, what their options are, where to go, what to do, and how your families can help you with the next step. Since that didn't happen, I went to one senior center and then COVID. I'm very happy to send you a book free. They sell on Amazon, but if you would like one free, my name and number will be at the end, and you could just give me a call or email me, and I'm happy to send you a book. So today's special guest is a residential assisted living specialist, Rocky McKay. He hails from Arizona, where it's nice and hot there. He's a CEO, co-founder of Peak Care Assisted Living Homes. They specialize in operating residential assisted living homes. For investors as well as themselves. There are actually 47,000 residential assisted living homes across the nation. It's a new concept to Connecticut. We have 5 here. The home I'm opening in Shelton in 2 weeks will be the 6th. So with his sound business insight, combined with strong relationship management and ability for energizing, organizing, and developing teams that achieve goals within highly competitive industries, Rocky is also the president of Arizona Assisted Living Homes Association, which is a nonprofit that helps educate owners and managers of residential assisted living homes in Arizona. And Rocky, I was just talking to him before the show, told me there are 1,800 such homes in Arizona. Rocky's experience includes managing service organizations and multi-million-dollar projects while going through expansion, increasing profitability in challenging business environments, including startup, turnaround, and growth. Well, there's no more challenging business time than the present. So let us welcome Rocky McKay to the stage. And Rocky, thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate you being here. And I know you're going to talk a little about transitioning your senior into a residential assisted living community. But before that, why don't you tell us how you got started in the business and what it means to you?
Well, thank you for having me on the show. Again, I'm Rocky. I got started in this business, started getting really focusing on assisted living about 4 years ago now. It will be 3 years in August of when we first opened our first house here in Arizona. And what it really did was started looking into assisted living for, of course, investment opportunity of doing this stuff. But we also started really looking at all the homes here in Arizona. And I have 2 partners, and we all have parents that are getting to the age of where we need to start looking for assisted living. And so we went around to a bunch of these homes in Arizona here in the Phoenix metro area specifically. And we just none of these are really to the standard that we felt like the home should be operating at anymore. And so we just decided to take it up on ourselves and say, we're going to start doing bigger, better homes and really run it, they should be, and not just having people living there and trying to take care of them, hire staff, have them run shifts and not being live-in caregivers. So, that they're making sure that the care is getting to the loved ones that come in there.
So Rocky, I've actually been to one of your homes and it's beautiful. I loved it. And I know you built that from scratch and you have a gorgeous atrium and a water thing going on in the back. Can you describe it and also describe exactly what a residential assisting living home is? Because they're pretty new to Connecticut. We
Yeah.
are used to the big box facilities here.
Yeah. So residential assisted living is a home, and depending on where you're at in the United States, it's usually less than 20 people that can be in the home. So like Arizona, it could be 10 or less. You can do this, and these are residential homes in neighborhoods. You could be living right by one and not even know that it was there. So we go in, we remodel the homes. So we put 10 bedrooms, usually 11 bathrooms into these homes. And the bedrooms are designed to just for them to sleep and have a little bit of personal space. But we have great big common areas for them to watch TV together, to do activities together, and dining and eating, and then usually big backdoor outdoor patios. But the one thing that's great about residential assisted living compared to the big boxes is you're going to get more personalized care in a residential setting. So usually the caregiver ratio in a residential assisted living home is going to be about one caregiver for every 5 to 6 residents. In big boxes, you're running about anywhere from one caregiver for 10 to 15 residents. So we can usually do higher care and what they really need to do for their personalized care in a residential assisted living than in a more of a bigger box stuff, especially if they have a mobility challenges. Some of these big boxes, you might have to go 100 yards from getting from your room to the dining room, or you might have to wait for somebody to come and push you that stuff. These homes, you're talking maybe 40, 50 feet now. So it's a lot better for them to be able to move around and keep some of their independence instead of really relying on somebody to take them someplace.
And with people with memory care issues, how do they deal in the home?
I think they come into better in the home because they're usually transitioning from a home into a home. So they're not feeling overwhelmed of seeing new people all the time. So our staff is fairly on a regular schedule. So they're able to adapt into the staff or seeing the same staff members over and over each day, instead of having who knows who's going to be on shift that day. Then they don't have to try to remember and adjust to a bunch of a big place. They're remembering their room, they're remembering the family great room area, the center of the house area, and they're not trying to, get frustrated with where are we, which hallway do I need to go down, or anything like this, because it's more centrally located for them, and it's not as big. And especially, I think the biggest thing that allows them to adapt better is having regular staff there that they're seeing on a regular basis.
Yeah, that knows their name. It's interesting because I was unfamiliar myself with residential assisted living until last October. And when I had gone out and I saw your place and a few other places, I loved it. I love the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar just with the hotel type places here, which are lovely for, especially if you're high functioning, driving, and want personalization and lots of activities and socialization. But once you get to memory care, especially, it is the smaller the better.
Yeah.
The smaller the
And
better.
there's a need for both of these. There's not a one size that fits all that's ever going to be out there. The big places fit a market that they're trying to serve. And the residential is fitting a very much needed market too that does it to where, I have getting residents from the big boxes because they become too much care for them, or they're too much of a potential of a fall risk because they don't have that stuff. So I've made relationships with some big boxes that's, when they say, okay, we can't take care of them, but here's a home that can do it, that's still in this neighborhood, then you're not going to do it. And, they, recommend them up over here. So it's not like all or none. So I think,
Yeah.
a lot of these places are recognizing that we do bring a great product and care to it that is below a nursing home level where they don't have to go into a nursing home, but still get the assisted care that they need on a daily basis.
So let's talk about transitioning. So how do people transition if they're reluctant, or just if they're coming either from their own home or from a different home? And oftentimes seniors could have a little bit of an issue transitioning. So what kind of steps do you take? What kind of steps should the families be taking to transition their loved one?
Well, I mean, there's not one size that fits all with transitions, and some are very reluctant. Some are very accepting of it. A lot of times we try to tell them to have them come by and just have lunch with the other residents, and then they can all sit around and talk. Or, now let's try lunch and dinner one time. Um, Other times, if we know it, just like, okay, hey, bring them up over here. We'll work with them. We might limit the family contact with them for 2 to 3 weeks, just so that they rely on our staff and caregivers of this is who it is. It might seem mean sometimes of them not be able to see, and they feel like they've just been dropped off, but they transition a lot quicker once they realize that they need to rely on the staff instead of calling the family member every time they need something.
Well,
So
that's
we
what we
try
do.
to,
That's what we do with kids in camp too, right?
yeah.
And my,
So, you kind of have to do that. And, so the more things that you have, and the nice thing is if you have a house that's practically full and you're only bringing in like a new person, these other residents just love when somebody new come in, because then they got to be able to start talking about some of their old stories again, or they want to know who they tell us about you. They're looking for that new interaction. Oh, somebody new, and the
we
next
have a
thing
new
you know,
audience. We have a new audience.
it's a new audience. The next thing you know, they're out there doing it. I have family members that say, "Oh, they're very antisocial. They're not going to come out for activities. They're not going to do this stuff or anything like that." And the next thing you know, the other residents start interacting with them, and they're out there playing activities with them. They're out there, talking, staying after they get done with their lunch or dinner, and sitting around the table and just keep on chatting and talking. So
I
it's
think
interesting.
I think too, because it's a home, they don't want to miss out, right? It's like if you're just in your bedroom at your own house and there's a party going on in the other room, you don't want to miss out. If you're in a bigger facility and you're in your own apartment, you don't even know you're missing out. So, they know what's going on down the hall, and they're like, they want to be part of it. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
my dad had a repertoire of jokes. Boy, he was so happy when a new person came. Tell him he's the
Yep.
funniest person in the world over and over, to everybody knew, right? He was a funny guy, but yeah.
Every
So,
single one of my homes, I have like the welcoming committee, because they're the ones that are never afraid to go up and start talking to the new resident, and they want to be able to be the first ones to start telling all their stories to them.
yeah, they want to impress them, take them under their wing. That's so nice. And so, what about with? I was going to ask about memory care. When you have people with memory care, or not just memory care, are you typically getting people that are searching out places and looking at a bunch of places first, or are they coming to you in an emergency situation? Is it like a dire stress?
Both. It's both. I'm getting some of, where they are planned out before they've got too bad with that. And then there's some that my mom just had a fall. I can't take care of her anymore. We need a place, or she's getting discharged from the hospital in 24 hours. Do you have a place to do that? So it goes both ways. It's just depending on how well the family has planned. I'm a strong believer, make sure this is something that you're having a conversations with your loved ones of, hey, this is what's going to be. It's not going to be realistic for us to take care of you at our home. I mean, if you have the means to do it and the money and the pay to other people come in and help, all means by do it. I'm not saying not to do this, but majority of the people are not going to have the means to be able to supply a 24/7 caregiver for somebody in their house, and they're going to get burnt out themselves. Family members playing caregivers get very stressful.
Right. Another thing about the caregiver, whether it's a family member or a single caregiver that comes into your home, they get kind of bored too, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just you and it's just, the person that could have memory issues, for instance, or that needs care, and them. So the two of you are kind of bored looking at each other. And it's so much nicer, even for the caregivers, to be working with, other residents than one and other caregivers. And I think it keeps up the energy level and the happiness level. I've seen caregivers in homes just look a little tired.
Oh, they do get tired. I mean, it's, being a caregiver is a thankless job. I mean, these individuals put their heart and soul into it, taking care of these loved ones. And it's very heartbreaking. They would get very attached to them, and so when something happens to them, they take it very personal, which is good. That's what you need to be able to have a successful assisted living, is those caring people that are going to be putting that onto them. So, but when they come in, I mean, if they're memory care or an emergency, it varies. I mean, on the emergencies, it's usually really harder, but they usually can break them away and say, "Oh, you're only going to be here for 2 weeks while you're doing some rehab." So they try to spin it to where you probably won't be coming back. And if they have enough memory care issues that they're on that, then they're probably going to forget that they're supposed to go home. And next thing you know, they're just calling this place home. This is just where it is. So there's always little, not lying, but tricks you could do to convince them to come in here and make it a smoother transition. Because we do rehab in our homes. We'll have home health come in, do some additional rehab with them, especially if they're coming from a fall or whatever, and just say, hey, you're just going to be here for 2-3 weeks while you're doing these rehabs. And so, I mean, that's some of the other ways to do it.
Well, I mean, it's not really a trick, right? Because with people in memory care, you have to meet them where they are, and you can't always be that upfront with them because they will get frustrated and aggravated and upset and not. So you have to meet them where they are and do it one day at a time. I was just having a little laugh to myself when you're talking about how attached people get, because my stepfather, who passed away last year at age 93, I don't know how many times he proposed to his caregiver. He was totally in love with her. It was like 45. He was like in love with her, like called her constantly. So, I mean, yeah, you do get very attached because it's a person loving you, caring for you one-on-one, very concerned with you. And she was an excellent caretaker and with him like a dozen years. So who's not going to get attached to somebody like that?
Exactly.
With them 24/7. And she loved him too. I don't think she wanted to marry him, but, it was quite interesting. But yeah, so what do the residents love best about, like, is it the interaction with the other people? Do they love all the activities you bring in? What kind of activities do you bring in? Do they go on outings, or are they more like homebound?
Every once in a while we'll do outings, but it's a lot harder because, we do have a lot more advanced care, a lot of them in wheelchairs. They can't move too much. So we do a lot of activities. I have an activities director that does a bunch of activities at each of the houses. I think the best thing they like is these residents become their own family members who they can have conversations with every single day. Having home cooked meals, they'll be able to be there in a home environment still. While we're cooking dinner or lunch or breakfast, they're right there seeing it being cooked and smelling it. And we even have one resident that she has a memory tech and remembers all of her old recipes still. So she will sit there and tell the caregivers exactly what to do. So they feel like they're involved still in that, where they can help plan the menu. They can help, if they want to help cook, that they, without physically cooking, of, okay, tell us what to do next. So you can kind of get them to be involved that way, and they're feeling like they're being at home there. They're sitting around talking, watching movies together.
Nice. That's so lovely. I worked for years doing something called senior shoppers and friendly shoppers and visitors. And I just matched up homebound seniors with volunteers that would shop for them. And wow, it's what a difference it would have made if they could have been living with others, because they were homebound by themselves, not cooking, eating out of cans or frozen food, microwaving. and there was zero socialization. And I
Yeah.
used to think like, wow, you're in a senior building. Let's just go in the hall and go to the elevator and talk to people. But they were just like in their little space. But it would be so much nicer if they could have their own space, but also, like you said, have a great home cooked meal. And it's like always being at a restaurant, and
Yeah.
then have other people talk to, or not. They could still stay in the room, but it's so much nicer and to be in a beautiful place.
It is.
Yeah, the isolation when they're home is
Yeah, I
just,
mean, isolation is what kills most of them, and it's very down on them and everything like that. We've had residents that come in that they weren't expecting to live that long, and then they get around this environment, and next thing you know, they come out of it, and they become active and interactive. They just were seeing them, but they weren't talking to anybody or getting any personal connection with anybody for like a week until their family members come maybe the next weekend, or somebody drops off something to them and they have that quick little interaction. We're here, somebody's around 24/7, 365 days a year.
one of my friend's parents, it was interesting. Her husband she and her husband went to a home, and then her husband died, and the kids wanted to move her. And she was like in her 90s. And she said, oh, I can't move because I'm helping like Helen.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was helping another resident who was, older than her, even though she was like 95. And she felt like a purpose in life. Like,
Yeah.
got to help somebody else and not just, be concerned about herself. And
You,
so,
you see that with the ladies very much, the ones that still have some physical ability to do it. Their mother instincts take in and they will start helping, taking care of other people that need help. They become like another caregiver and they feel like they can, like, okay, yeah, oh, they need help. We had one gentleman that always needed his food cut up really small. And this one lady just enjoyed helping him out, so she would cut up all of his food for him. We just sat him next to her and she would just, take care of him while we were eating.
if you
And
were, if you were a wife and a mother and a grandmother and great grandmother, and now you were just by yourself,
Mhm.
and you enjoy taking care of people, it's a great joy. And not
It
people
is.
are so nice. And what about coming in and out for visitors? I know COVID's a little different, but during non-COVID, do people come and go? How does that
Oh
work?
yeah, family members can take them out and do different things with them. They can come back in. We really have a open door. I mean, even though it's not open, we have so locked facility, but we don't have any restrictions on hours when family members want to come and visit. We just hey, if they're sleeping, don't come and wake them up, because that gets them off their schedule. But we just like come in, enjoy them. We have these big, beautiful backyards. Bring your family up over. We do birthday parties there. We've done graduation parties there. So they don't have to now feel like they have to take their loved one out and then somebody tries to take care of them. They bring the birthday parties up over there. Now their grandma can be part of it, and we have these big deals. But my staff is there to take care of her. So if she needs to go to the bathroom or if she has an accident, we can take them in there and get them cleaned up and bring them back out. And now somebody for the family's not trying to deal with it. They're still all enjoying the party, and we just do it and bring them back out, and it's like nothing ever happened.
Rocky, your place is nice enough that they could have a little wedding back there.
Well, we could.
I can imagine that. That's so nice. Then they don't have to miss anything.
That's what we try to do. That's what our backyards are really designed for, is for the families use more so than the residents use. So when the families come over and visit the residents more.
So, how should the families help in the transition period? Is it with bringing some of their loved ones' items, or talking to them, or what can they do? Should they be showing up, not showing up?
We encourage you to bring over their personal effects that they really value most. Pictures, grandkids' pictures. They have a favorite chair or something like that that they bring up over. Make it as comfortable as possible for them. But for the family members, rely on the staff to do it. So if they ask you something, let's say you're there visiting, they say, "Oh, can you go get this for me?" Like, no, press your call button. and let's have the staff do it. So they get in that habit of relying on the staff and just not when the family members are there. So they get used to doing that. So be that enforcer of, no, you need to do this if you want something, just to help do that. Because I've seen family members come in that, oh, he wants this or she wants this. Okay, well, they need to learn to ask for it and not rely on the family members to do it.
So when they first come in, they kind of wait for their family members to show up to ask
before exactly. So help the family members of, if they are there, don't no, you can just press your button and ask for it or ring the bell, whatever how the house is set up.
My father-in-law would not ask for nothing, and I'd show up like once every week or two, and then he would have a question that he wouldn't have asked them for 2 weeks. I'm like, well, you wanted that for 2 weeks? You're waiting for me? Yeah. So I understand. So you educate the families.
Yeah.
How, because it's their house, it's their house, how the seniors can live there comfortably and get all their needs met immediately, not waiting for a family member if, they don't have a phone working or the bed doesn't go out or something.
We can only take care of what we're told to take care of. Yeah. And if we're not being told, and then, the resident is getting frustrated, feels like they're being neglected, because they're not getting this need met, but they're not wanting to say anything. And sometimes, it's very hard that they're not trusting, because it takes a while to build up the trust between the staff and the residents. So we just really encourage them, hey, if they call you, if you're here and they ask you, well, did you press your call button to ask the staff? Or have you asked the staff when they came in and checked on you? No, well, you need to do that. That's the only way it's going to do. And get them to feel like it's all right to do it. You're not doing anything wrong by asking these questions or asking for something.
Nice. So you are going to be opening more of these residential assisted livings in Phoenix?
We're going to be doing some in Phoenix, but we're going to be doing some elsewhere too.
Beautiful. Love it. So you're loving the business.
Yeah, I do. I love this business. It's been very passionate. What's that?
You're loving your seniors.
Oh yes. It feels like I'm doing something to give back to. I'm providing great quality care to people. When people ask me, have you had a bad day today? I'm like, no, nothing's a bad day compared to what it is. I really, really, truly enjoy doing these and getting good quality care to the loved ones and people that have helped shape a lot of the benefits I've gotten in my life.
You know what, Rocky, that one of the reasons I want to open one is it's somewhere I would definitely put my own parents and my in-laws. Like, I would love them to be there. In a heartbeat, if they needed it. I'd love them to be there because I know that it's just like home. It's just like their house. It's just like home. It won't be unfamiliar to them. They'll feel comfy to have a backyard and a porch like they're used to and a deck, and they'll be very, very much at home.
Yep.
Love the whole concept. That's super. Well, thank you so much for bringing it to Arizona in such a beautiful way, and thanks so much for educating us. Before we go, I do want to ask you, how are you keeping everybody safe during COVID, and how is your, I hear the numbers are amazing with the residential assisted living, like just COVID free all over the place.
Yeah, luckily we've been able to, we was able to go down on lockdown, I think a lot quicker than the bigger facilities. But again, not having, hundreds of people trying to take care of 2,000, beds in a big place, or, you might have a 200-300 bed facility, you need quite a few people coming in there and taking care of them, So us, we're only allowing, our staff, there's only 2 to 3 people, 4 people a day that's going into that home. So we're able to lock it down. We're able to screen our staff really quickly, make sure infectious control policies are staying up on top, disinfecting that whole house, because, my house is average is I have 2 houses at 4,700 square feet, one home at 6,900 square feet. So we're able to keep the things disinfected a lot easier. Screening the people coming in, yes, we did lock down and we're not allowing family members in unless it's end of life situation. We're only allowing medical care personnel come in. We're just starting to open up to where they can come into the backyard, visit 6 feet apart and everything like that. But, we took some extreme cautions to make sure it doesn't get in, because if it does get into a assisted living home, it's going to affect everybody just as quick, do it. So as easy it is to lock it down and keep it out, it could spread to every single member and they're just as quick. Where the bigger places, they might have distance to do it, but they have more people, so it's easier to get in, but they might be able to contain it to a wing or something a little bit better than it is in a home. But, you wouldn't be able to contain it into a home if it got in there. It'd just be spread within 10 minutes, just because, that's when the caregivers are walking around. So.
And how are your residents doing with it? Well, since they have each other.
They have each other, and they feel like it's funny. Some of them don't care; they'd rather just open up. And some of them, understand. But everybody's very agreeable to it. We set up to where they could FaceTime or Skype with their family members. So as soon as we went in lockdown, I made sure each one of the homes had a tablet where they could do FaceTime or Skype on with their family members. Did a bunch of other things so they could be able to communicate with them whenever they want to and stuff like that.
Nice. Beautiful. Well, Rocky, I can't wait to see your next homes. I do have a cousin out in Arizona, so I do come visit. And I will be out there in October at the RALNA.
Well, I will see you there. I'll be there too.
I will definitely see you there. And thank you so much for sharing the information with everybody and your knowledge. And I can't believe how many homes, 1,800 residential assisted
1,800 residential homes, in the state of Arizona.
That's amazing. Well, I'm opening number 6 in Connecticut. So we're a few behind you, but hopefully we'll catch up, because the concept is amazing. And thank you so much for bringing such a beautiful place to the seniors in Arizona. And I love your facilities, and I love what you've done.
Thank you.
And I love your library and your beauty parlor nook, which I added to, and it's all good. Thank you so much, Rocky. I'm going to say goodbye now.
Thank you. Good luck with yours, and we will talk to you soon.
I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And as promised, if you want a book, you could just call me, Deirdre, or email me at dverbo@gmail.com or 203-689-7562, and I'm happy to send you a free book. So thank you so much, and join us tomorrow for Live at 5. Seniors, let's talk seniors, memory care issues. Till then.
Hi, Deirdre here again. Thank you for joining me on Let's Talk Seniors Memory Care Issues. Is this an issue hitting home? Do you have a parent or loved one with memory care issues who you feel is not safe at home anymore? Are isolation, falls, and safety issues becoming a big concern? Welcome to Dogwood Senior Home, premier boutique residential senior living specializing in memory care. It's country living at its best in the Huntington section of Shelton, Connecticut. We're truly a home with only 6 senior residents living as one family unit. Senior residential homes are concepts sweeping the nation with 47,000 across the U.S. We're pleased to open Dogwood Senior Home, as it will be only number 6 for Connecticut. Brand new, sparkling clean, opening mid-June. And safe, safe, safe. We are COVID-free. Residential care homes boast a very low COVID infection rate across the nation. This is due to the intimacy of size and speed in which the caretakers can shift to accommodate immediate needs. They are much safer than the large homes and facilities, as you can imagine. It has been documented that residents have less falls and a better quality of life in a residential home environment. Our home is more affordable than the big box facility. You pay one all-inclusive price, and that price is guaranteed for the life of the resident. with an incredible 1-to-3 caregiver ratio, which you won't find anywhere else. Our friendly, loving caregivers are dedicated and trained in Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's issues. We're only taking 6 residents, so the home will fill up fast. Call me at 203-689-7562 for a talk and tour. I would love to meet you and your loved one. See you soon. Bye.